A few days after making my last video, I came to the realization that I forgot something very important. What about Central Park? Why would you give a piece of ground worth millions of dollars to the local tennis club or the local baseball club? Making 58 videos about the parasite, I know by now that this rectangle has to have another meaning. My first thoughts were, well, it's probably the measurements of the tabernacle. But they didn't seem to fit. So then I had to think a while about it, but then the obvious presented itself. The analemma, ground plan of the church. But why would you put an analemma in the center of New York? What would be the purpose? So what I noticed is that in the center of the analemma there is a building, a fountain. The pool of Bethesda is about Jesus healing a paralyzed man at a pool of water in Jerusalem. Others identified it with the twin pools, then called the Souterrain, under the convent of the Sisters of Zion. Well, that got my attention. The twin pools and the Sisters of Zion. And then I bumped into something else, the inevitable obelisk. And not just a random obelisk, no. They have to fetch this one in Alexandria, Egypt. Always Egypt. Why putting all this money in an expedition retrieving an ancient obelisk? That is the question. And we always bump into the good old Masons. This one is called Henry Honeychurch Goring. Double H, double 8, Heil Hitler, Heinrich Himmler. We had another Goering in World War II. Let's take a look at the position of the obelisk in the analemma. If we divide the analemma in 24 hours, in one version the obelisk is standing at 2 AM and in the second version at 17 PM. What we are looking for is evidence of the Black Cube organization. Right, Lance? And this means everything Egyptian. Right next to the obelisk we have the Metropolitan Museum. And inside we have the Temple of Dendur. You have two buildings on an island. Why would you take the trouble to put some water in there? Unless it has a function. 4 statues of Sekhmet. Well, these two buildings remind me of something else. The Arc of Triumph in Paris. And another building. A cube. If we take a look at the cube in Paris, there are a lot of alignments. One of them is a square pool of water. And you have an alignment with the Arc of Triumph. Now, when you take a look at the podium in the Tour de France, you will see the alignment with a yellow brick road. How strange. And there too you have the obelisk, but this one is coming from Luxor. The second one is still standing there. In Paris you have an alignment with the obelisk, the Arc of Triumph and the cube. Probably all coincidence. On the other side you have an alignment with the Louvre and a glass pyramid. Now in Central Park we also have a glass pyramid next to the obelisk. Now let's put in the analemma, maybe a 24-hour analemma. So that's about 1600. In the other direction of the obelisk we have some interesting buildings.